If you're a coach watching this, remember that I'm talking directly to your players. So put yourself in your player's shoes. Think like a player. Now, players, before I put you on the move, filling this empty spot, shortening the distance to receive the pass, I want to explain this first read while you're stationary. The first rule is about your spacing from the three-point line. Now, these spots on the floor ensure that you have good spacing between you and your teammates, but they also ensure that you play a minimum of 3 feet away from our read line. Now, that's a minimum. If a defender can steal the pass while playing inside the read line, the three-point line, then your spots, these spots, are too close and you should move them further out. When the spot is far enough away from the three-point line that a defender inside this arc cannot steal this pass, then we're ready for our rule, our first read. If your defender is inside the three-point line, the read line, it's a safe pass to you. Of course, that rule is there mainly for your passer. If your defender is over the read line, then you must cut. And of course, that rule is for both the passer and especially for you. So, before we put players on the move, filling an empty spot, shortening the pass, we teach the read line rear cut rule. If you're one spot away from the ball and your defender steps over the read line, then you basket cut. No signals, you just go. Let's look at this in game clips before we talk about filling an empty spot. I'm going to pause each clip at the point where the defender steps over the read line and triggers the rear cut. Sometimes the defender is not quite over the arc, but the offensive player is reading this with their peripheral vision. So there's a little forgiveness in there. As long as it's close and they have momentum, it will work. Will this turn into a basket for you every time? Of course not, but it will score enough that defense will be more careful about playing you tight, which allows us to move the ball around the perimeter more safely. Another reason that we're not upset that you don't score on this cut every time is because someone else will be filling your empty spot. They will be shortening the pass and making the same read on their defender that you did. So now we're ready to apply our read line rule whenever you're on the move filling an empty spot. You must train yourself to see both the ball and your defender at the same time. The good news about this skill is that everyone is capable of doing it. It boils down to a change of speed and a change of angle. The higher you fill, the further away from the goal that you can draw your defender, the better your chances of being open when you cut. If your outside foot is pointing toward your passer, it allows you to push off explosively toward the goal. Proper footwork is necessary for recruiting the maximum mechanics. Some call this footwork recruit your glutes. In other words, it activates your most explosive muscles, your glutes, not your hamstrings. Throughout these clips, I will not pause the video to point out where the defender went over the read line. Look for the player in the yellow circle and then keep an eye on her or his defender. You'll be able to spot the trigger, and with the clip in motion, you'll get a feel for the timing. Don't overlook that you may be the teammate making the pass. These clips will give you a feel for when and where the pass should be made. In this clip, you'll have a great angle from the passer's point of view. You can see her throw to a spot. I'm going to repeat this clip to show you the angle of her outside foot that I had referenced earlier. The line of her foot is perpendicular to the direction of her cut. It should go without saying, but I want to mention that there's no particular time in a possession where the read line works best. This one is gotten late in the possession. Here are examples of the Readline Rear Cut early in the possession. In fact, straight out of transition. With experience, you'll read your defender's momentum as much as their position over the read line. In essence, you are baiting your defender to go for the steal and then using their momentum against them. That comes with experience. To gain the experience, we use the three-point line as a read line. So, none of the defenders in these clips actually step over the read line. Sometimes it's the fault of the offensive player for playing too close to the three-point line. You should maintain a 3-foot minimum distance outside the arc. But I want to show you that the experienced player can still make it work. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the defense has their back to the goal while the cutter is racing forward to the rim. That's a difficult situation for a foot race. One of the side benefits of learning this read is that you can apply it wherever and whenever you're being overplayed. And training the passer is as important as training the cutter. Here's an example of applying the read line in an out-of-bounds play. Here's another out-of-bounds play with only 1.4 seconds left on the clock. In this clip, the team eventually gets someone in the post, feeds them, and then follows with a Laker cut. That empty spot must be filled, and we get a read line there for a layup. In these two clips, we feed the high post and get a read line. Once you get this skill under your belt, there are lots of places to apply it. Just like dribble penetration, read line penetration will draw help from good defensive teams. And just like dribble penetration, you must be able to find your open teammate. They might be on the perimeter, like penetrate and pitch. Or the open teammate might be closer to the goal, so you have to dish it, like in this clip. Of course, the read line will work against zones, but we'll explore that in a separate course when we're only looking at zones.